is Renisa.
Hey y'all, this is Jen.
And this is our podcast, Speak Up. What's up, Jen?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. You usually say, hey girl.
I know. I wanted to switch it up today.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, me and Jen are best friends, and we created this podcast to use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect.
Self-love and respect are always two things that are going to be important for us, probably for the rest of our lives.
Yes, most definitely. So Jen, what is our title today?
Today, our episode is called Create and Chill.
Create and Chill. Is it like Netflix and chill?
Kind of, yeah. I think that's where we're trying to go with it, right?
Yeah, we're digging pretty deep.
Yeah.
We decided to call it Create and Chill because we're talking about getting tapped in with your creative side. All of us have a creative side, and I feel like it's overshadowed in, like when we lead a busy life or we just get caught up in other things. And I think it's just important to embrace your creative side and just let it shine through.
Yeah, with everything that's been going on, like I know some of us are feeling maybe restless or like, super busy from work, whether you're still working from home or, you're outside, wherever. So we thought it was important to emphasize like what to do outside of work, right? Because at the end of the day, you're still a whole person. You still have a whole personality and likes and dislikes outside of it. So we thought, why not be fun? Why not talk about something that actually interests pretty much everybody? Like I think everybody on this planet should have some sort of creativity.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, there's been a lot of time during this quarantine, to be bored. And it's like, yeah, use that time, to your advantage. Like I feel like we're so used to taking our free time and like feeling like we should still be busy doing something else productive. And it's like, I feel like your creative side is you embracing you and you ultimately loving yourself because you're allowing yourself to be your true self.
Exactly. Like Vernisa was saying with this quarantine, like it's so easy to fall into the negativity with everything. With the news, of course, it's important to keep ourselves educated and know what's going on in the world. But I think it's important to also like tap into us. At the end of the day, like when you're being creative, you're allowing yourself to just do something for you, like something that makes you happy no matter what that is. So, this is why it's important for us to do this. Like, I don't care what kind of moment you're going through, what kind of roles you're playing. At the end of the day, like you need to have some sort of interest that makes you happy.
I agree with that. There's some negative effects, to not getting creative. I think one of the main ones is when you don't allow yourself to be creative, you start to lose your creative traits because it's just like anything. It's like a sport or something. Like if you don't practice on a daily, you don't practice every now and then, you're going to eventually forget how to do it. Like I feel like our creative side isn't always like riding a bike. Yeah. I feel like it can diminish and you can forget that you can't even be creative in the first place.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like I know with, at least for me personally, like with work and everything, there had been a moment where I'd stopped like doing hobbies. I stopped I stopped having time for anything else. But then I realized like the more I didn't have time for anything, I also didn't have time for me. Like I wasn't taking care of me. I wasn't doing something that made me happy on a daily basis or just even on a monthly basis. Like I was just so wrapped up in staying busy and always having to work on my goals. And don't get me wrong, like, yeah, I got a lot of shit done. But at the same time, I felt like there was no sort of relief for me. Like I wasn't exactly relaxing after work. It was like after work, I have to work on some other goals that I have planned. I have to read, I have to do this, I have to research, I have to do that. And it's like I just never got like a breath, so I feel like with this quarantine, at least, like it's helped me tap back into that. Like I personally really like to draw, so that's something that I've been trying to really incorporate back into my lifestyle while all this is happening.
Yeah, by the way, y'all, this girl can draw. We're gonna have to show off some of her drawings very soon. She got talent. I just want to add on too, like, our creative side, it can be a stress reliever. We often try to seek other things to relieve stress, and sometimes it's things that ain't even good for us. Like we'll turn to things that we shouldn't be doing because we're just trying to numb whatever it is. But your creative side is actually very healthy. When you can do whatever it is. Me, for example, I love writing poetry. I was kind of, I was beating myself up for kind of taking a break from it because I got so caught up in, my regular routine with life, just being busy, that like every time I would try to write and then it wasn't coming out right, I would just get even madder at myself, and then I would just be like, then I would just be like, give up again and push it away, and then get mad when I hear a good poem and it's like I can be writing, right. And I had to learn just to be patient with myself. I had to really sit with myself and say, and Renee said, you haven't been giving yourself this time to write and be creative, so you can't get mad because as soon as you pick up a pen or your phone and your notes, it's not coming out right. I had to I just feel like if you're just jumping back into your creative side, like an old hobby or a task that you like to do, it might take you some time to warm up. Like, maybe we're drawing, some people have to sketch a little and just do little practice sketches before jumping into the masterpiece that they want to draw.
No, seriously, I think it's important to nurture our talents no matter what. Like, you can't give up on something that makes you happy. Like how you were saying with the drawing and everything. I think with the writing poetry, like, I think it's important to just continue working on that. Like, how are you going to expect to finish that poem if you never start, right? And as soon as you mess up one time, like, what, you just gonna give up? Like, trust me, even though I love drawing and everything, I think the number one thing it's taught me is patience. Like, just be patient, but continue to do it. Like, continue to nurture that talent. Because if I don't, then it's not going to get me anywhere. And like throughout the years, I've seen that my drawings have gotten better and everything. So I'm like, okay, it's just a matter of actually sitting down and deciding I'm going to do this. And don't get me wrong, like, just because these drawings end up looking the way that I want them to, there's a lot of erasing going on, a lot of hand hurting, but if I had never started, if I had never actually taken the time, they wouldn't even be here.
And I think to get in touch with your creative side, you have to give yourself time to even do that in the first place. Like, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, we all have an extra 10 minutes somewhere, like, just to go towards it. Start there, because when you start on something, like with me, like, sometimes I start a poem, I'll write the first like 2 sentences, whatever, like the first whatever, and then once I know I started it, it makes me want to go back to it and give more time to it to eventually complete it. Say with your drawings, like, you might, if you're drawing a person, you might draw their hand first and then go back to it, and also it's about like figuring out what things are you creative in. Sometimes we have some hidden talents that we don't even know about.
Exactly.
Or you can take your creative side and enhance it in other avenues. It doesn't have to just be drawing. Like some people who draw like to turn it into tattoo, tattoo artists, people who write poetry end up writing a book. You never know like what could come out of that.
And that's what I was saying, like, with actually nurturing your talents, you realize like there's other things you might be good at. Like, of course, drawing is like, a big thing that I like, but it's also helped me discover that I'm really good with my hands in general. Like, I like to create things. So shut up. So anyway, that was so I like to crochet, I like to just do stuff. And like, if I had never just been patient with myself, like, I would have never actually gotten there. So I think it's important to figure that out. Like, even just if you're not the best, creative person in the world, like, there's something that you like to do, like, why not do it? Like, I like to sing also, not Christina Aguilera or nobody, but at the end of the day, that's something that I like. If you like to dance, why don't you dance? Like, I think this is important to just realize what you like, what your interests are, and then just keep doing them.
Yeah, like, speaking of dancing, like, indulge in those hobbies. Honestly, right before we started recording this, Jim was setting everything up. I was just dancing in the mirror the whole time. Like, I like dancing because it's just something that, like, sometimes I'll just dance in the mirror and not care, like, who's around and stuff. Like, it's just a way I feel like, it relieves stress. It helps me just feel free in my own skin and, and just be able to embrace who I am. And, dancing is a creative tool,
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. And just honestly, like, even if it's reading, some people like to just binge read, just get different books and stuff. Like, you never know what could come out of those books that you end up reading.
And that's the thing too, like, knowing when your body's telling you to take a break, I think is really important, obviously. Like, yes, we live the type of lifestyle that we live, so maybe we have to work, we have to find ways to make money, survive financially, whatever. But then there's also that moment where it's like, okay, when my brain is just exhausted, when I just can't do it anymore, I can't think about goals for the day, what am I doing? Yeah, sometimes I like to veg out. Like, I have a particular interest in, like, conspiracy theories. So, like, I'll watch documentaries on conspiracies. You know, but that's, like, my moment to, yes, I'm learning, but at the same time, it's just, like, a moment for me to just be a couch potato. And I think that's important, too. And it can be part of your creativity. Like, that still counts as nurturing some sort of talent or some sort of interest. And I think that's the biggest thing that we're trying to emphasize, that, like, we live in such a fast-paced culture that it's okay to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, you know, Jen and I focus heavy on personal development, and sometimes personal development, you know, it isn't always so serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I have to just be sitting here watching my actions, you know, thinking about who I'm gonna apologize to, or just working on like a certain goal. Sometimes personal development is just tapping into other layers of your personality, you know, because that goes with you finding yourself, you know, because you can't truly know yourself till you know like what you're good at, what your interests are, you know. And when you learn certain parts of your personality, that even helps you like in romantic relationships, with friendships, because you know what you want from a person. Like, you know, it helps you have better conversations. You have something else to talk about. I just say this to say too, because it's like nobody want to be with nobody boring, you know. Like, you know, show your personality off. You know, we're all beautiful gems, and it's like, why not embrace that?
Yeah, seriously. I just think you need to do you. Like, you need to take care of you. You know, whether you are in a 10, 20-year relationship, whether you're single as the last Pringle in the box, like, I think it's important, you know, I think it's important to just really find out who you are and don't care about what anybody else says. Like, if this is something that makes you happy, if yodeling is your passion and that's something that you've always, you know, been interested in and you want to take up, that's fine. Just don't do it around me, because if you're my neighbor, I will get angry. But, you know, that's just like something that it sets your soul on fire, you know. Why not, like, do it for you? Like, at the end of the day, this creativity needs to be something that's coming from you.
I mean, I'm be real, like, I feel like opinions are like the biggest stop sign to people's creativity, because I feel like a lot of people are scared to embrace who they are and their creative side because of what others are gonna think. Like, even if you're a fashion designer, like, you know, or whatever, you're into fashion and there's a certain outfit you want to wear, rock it, you know. And I feel like people stop, you know, they'll just dress like everybody else just to fit in and stuff. But it's like, okay, we're trying to impress society for what? You know, I get it, there's latest trends and things like that, but if that's something that you really want to wear, if that's a hairstyle that you want to rock your hairstyle and embrace it. But I feel like opinions will fuck you up, and, you know, we got to stop letting other people's opinions control our lives. That's in like different levels and different topics within our life.
That's true. I had a patient that I worked with. Honestly, he was like one of my favorites because he was so unique in the fact that, like, he didn't care what anybody thought about him. Like, he was really into like anime and like cosplay and stuff, so sometimes he would show up with like an anime outfit, or like he would have dyed his hair blue, you know, or he just wore like these elaborate outfits, and I just always thought it was awesome because he was so unapologetically him. And it's like something that I learned from him, actually. Like, you know, life is all about learning from different people and, you know, piggybacking off of each other. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I learned, that it's like, damn, there's this person over here who, like, you know, doesn't care what anybody else thinks about him. Like, he's just gonna be him, and if you have a problem with it, well, then that's on you, you know. And I think that's something that we all need to take with us. Like you were saying, you know, get that hairstyle you've been wanting to get. Shoot, there might be a dramatic change coming around my corner, so, you know, it's like, why not, you know. So I think it's important for everybody to just be unapologetically you.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And if somebody got a problem with it, they really got a problem with themselves. And then they mad because they can't rock whatever outfit they was trying to rock. So they want to feel better about themselves, trying to talk down on you for being your own person. You know, we gotta just stop letting people control it. I feel like it's something beautiful when you just embrace who you are. Nobody can tell you shit. I'm gonna leave it with that.
That's true. If we're always so concerned about like other people's opinions, we're never gonna live. How are we ever gonna have that satisfying life? At the end of the day, you walk with you, you have your own thoughts every single day. You know how busy you are and everything, so it's like, why would you let someone else dictate what's gonna make you happy? If I took on the opinions of everybody around me who told me, you know, like, your drawing's kind of weird or whatever the fuck, I would never draw. in that case, because you can't please everybody. If you're always worried about what this person's gonna say, well then this person's not gonna be happy about it, but then what about this person? And it's just not worth it. Like, if you're satisfied, if you like what you're doing, do it. Like, as long as it's healthy and it makes you happy, I think it's something that is worth trying.
That's so true. You know, going off of like not caring what people think, I remember, like, you know, there's been a couple times I actually like perform poems in front of people, like on a stage, and I remember like being so scared to be, you know, to go on stage, you know, because it's like, oh, all these people in the crowd, da da da. And I remember one particular time, you know, it was random. I was actually with Jen and one of my other homegirls, and basically it was random. Like, they ended up, like, you know, y'all made me go on there, like, go up there, da da da. So I ended up doing it, but I remember like being so scared at first. I was like, okay, when they hear this, you know, I don't know how the crowd's gonna react. Basically, it was me talking about the poem was talking about like toxic men, and, you know, overcoming, you know, dealing with toxic men. And I actually, you know, went on stage, I did the poem, and it was just crazy to hear the crowd, because you could tell like what I was saying was healing to the crowd, and like women or men, people in the crowd needed to hear the message I was delivering. So at the end I felt great. But imagine if like I would have just not did it, you know. It's like I would have just let the fear of people's opinion stop me. But when me going up there and, like, you know, showing my creative side and, you know, sending out my message, I was able to, you know, help the crowd in a way. So I just think, I don't know, that's just an example to say, be fearless, you know, own who you are, get your ass on stage and show it off. Like,
for real, it was an amazing poem, by the way.
Thank you, best friend.
Like, I think all of this relates to self-love, because we're being more us every single day. You know, I think sometimes we get so caught up in being busy and everything that, like, we forget who we really are on the inside. Like, you know, I think during this quarantine, a lot of us realize job status ain't shit. You know, I don't care how much money you're making or anything. Like, at the end of the day, you need to have something on the side that makes you happy. And if you have multiple somethings on the side, that's even better. You know, we're not saying neglect your goals completely, but like, when your body's just tired, your mind is tired, like everything's just saying no to productivity right now, be productive in other areas of your life. And I think getting creative with yourself and indulging in a hobby is like really important, because this is how you're actually learning who you are, what makes you happy. Shoot, I use drawing as like a coping mechanism, honestly. Like, when I was going through that really bad breakup, I went to my drawing. You know, I went to crochet. Like, these are things that kept my mind busy, away from just the sadness of the situation, but also it let me put it out onto paper. Like, you know, my energy transmuted somewhere else.
And I agree with everything you said, and I think it relates to self-love too, because, you know, it allows you just to embrace your spirit, embrace, you know, just being a human being, you know. And we all have an inner child in us. Like, we all had something that we like to do as a child that kind of followed us into adulthood. But, you know, obviously, like with our life, sometimes it takes that away. But when you give yourself that time, you're choosing you and what you really love before obligations or things that are not going to benefit you in the long run. And like Jen was saying, it's a healthy coping mechanism at the same time. And it's like, yeah, a counselor or whatever could give you a book of things to do at home, whatever, but it's nothing like what you truly want to do. And those, you know, things, like me, for example, sometimes I'll just turn the lights off and play music all night. Like, I love music. I could listen to different genres of music, you know, and just feel really good. And it's like, when I do that, I'm like, why don't I do this more often? You know, and I just think, you know, you cannot allow yourself to forget what truly makes you happy.
Yeah. And I think also, like, being creative in, how can I say it, like, in a way to help you move forward in life, is also really important. So let's say you're just stuck right now, right? Like, you don't know where your life is headed anymore because of this whole thing that's happening. Maybe you lost your job, you're struggling financially. Like, maybe get creative with how you're gonna do things moving forward. So recently I've gotten into like writing journal prompts. So like, it'll be just a list of questions, and it'll get me thinking. Like, it'll say, you know, describe yourself in the most beautiful way possible. It's not even about like being cocky, it's just about admiring what I come with, you know, and realizing like, okay, this is what I wake up with every single day. I'm gonna appreciate it today. Or, you know, if I could change something about my life that needed to be changed without even me realizing it because of this whole thing. Like, you know, what is that going to be? What am I going to change? And it really gets me thinking, and it helps me be creative, because now it's like, yeah, you know, there are certain things that weren't working for me that now that I'm forced to deal with it, I realize, okay, I can take it a different direction. So it's like I'm still being creative, but I'm also being productive at the same time. So being creative doesn't mean, oh my gosh, I'm not working on my goals anymore. Like, I don't know what to do. You know, this is a waste of time. It's not. If you're ever taking care of you, it's never a waste of time. And I think that's something that we should stop feeling guilty about.
Ooh, say that again, best friend. That was facts right there. That's the end of the episode right there. I want to say, too, I got to throw a little joke. I love how creative y'all getting with these quarantine masks, though. Like, look, that's beautiful. Like, I was talking to the homie yesterday, and he had the matching outfit, but the mask went with it. I'm like, with the design. But I think that's so cool. Like, it, like, you see how, like, it allows us to ease up the tension. Like, yeah, this is a crazy time right now. We're all, you know, trying to protect ourselves and everything. But the fact, like, people are still, like, finding a way to be themselves through this. You know, wear colorful gloves and just the way people are doing things. Like, for example, I came to Jen's house and she had her window open a certain way to where, like, when she draws, she can see the nature outside. Like, little things like that, I just feel like it enhances your life and it gives you a little bit of ease while you're doing your tasks that you have to do.
Even all the challenges that are coming out now, like, you know, the dancing challenges, or like, you know, you're being with your family, so you have to get creative with your family, like with your partner and stuff. Like, I think that's just the most beautiful thing. Like, we have to recognize how creativity also connects us with people. Like, it helps us really reach out and find somebody who may have the same type of interest, or, you know, now that you're getting to spend more time at home, like, you're also just being able to tap into each other's creativity. Like, you realize how someone's mind works when you're doing that.
And I want to say too, you know, creativity, it looks different for everybody. Like, you know, me and Jen are best friends, but it's crazy. Our creativity patterns are, like, extremely different. But I feel like it's dope because we can learn from one another. And it's like when you mold yourself and you figure out really what your interests are, you'll learn who you're, like, compatible with, who you're not compatible with, and you'll learn, like, what you can, I mean, you'll learn that you can learn from other people, you know, and I think it's just pretty dope. And, you know, I think to just be optimistic, you know, I feel like a lot of us walk around with closed off minds, like, well, this is what I do, this is it. Like, live life, you know, like, I think it's dope, you know, when you can, like, take on different things, or, like, go take a painting class, you know, just learn how to just things you never did before, but you realize it's fun. That's a stress reliever because it's something new, and, like, not being hard on yourself just because you don't get it the first try or something.
And I think this is why it's important to have hobbies, you know, or anything. It doesn't even have to be the most elaborate thing, like how you're saying, like with the painting classes or something. You know, that's something that you are not probably gonna be the best at the very first time you try it, but, like, if you continue to do it because you realize how much you like it, why wouldn't you continue to indulge in that, you know? And it doesn't even have to be something like that. Maybe you're really good at playing a certain instrument, or maybe you're really good at singing, you know, come teach me because I want to learn. You know, it can even be the simplest thing. Like, maybe you're into puzzles. Like, there's this guy I follow on Instagram, and he just does puzzles, like 1,000-piece puzzles, and, you know, he'll time-lapse it, and it looks really cool. And it's like, I've done puzzles before, and I just think they're amazing. Like, they really get your mind working, you know, and once you get into it, it's like, oh shoot, I want to keep going. And then before you realize that, like, you spend hours on it. And I think right now is the perfect time to be doing stuff like this, because we have the time. You know, the world's kind of slowed down and everything. Maybe your life has slowed down in a lot of ways, and you know, when you have time, maybe like Bernice said earlier, like 10 minutes, even 15 minutes, to just dive into these hobbies that you never knew you would have had life continued to be going so fast.
Yeah, you know, and hobbies are important because I feel like they take you away from the real world. You know, you're giving yourself your own paradise, your own heaven on earth, you know. And I want to say, too, you know, people say, like, you know, they wish they can get paid for whatever they like to do. we in an information age. We're in a time right now, like, people are literally getting paid for just having a pet page. Whatever. Like, start that page if, you know, it's something that you like to do. Like, do a blog, you know, do a podcast, do a video, you know, whatever. Like, there's ways to just still, like, if you want to, what's the word I want to say, show off your creative side, you can create your own platform that allows you to showcase it to the world.
Yeah, that's true. And if you don't want to, if you want to keep it private, you can do that too. You know, I mean, like, it's good to share these hobbies. Obviously, like I said, it helps connect you to people and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's also good to just keep it for you. Like, if you're not ready to show your hobby to the world, then you don't have to. But as long as it makes you happy, it's healthy, and it keeps you going, why not?
Ultimately, y'all, creativity, you know, it connects you to your individuality, and I think that's the important message to take from this episode, because, you know, we're all unique, we're all beautiful, you know, flaws included, and, you know, why not give yourself that time to shine and just, you know, be able just to just cope with, you know, we're in a crazy world, you know, it's hard, and I feel like, especially too when our time is consumed a lot, you know, we wear different hats and stuff. Make sure you're giving yourself quality time with yourself. Have fun with yourself, you know. I think that's pretty cool. You know, you have hobbies that you like, you have a tennis buddy, whatever. I'm just saying stuff at this point. But, you know, it's okay to practice those things, you know, with yourself and be able to just wind down, especially when things are getting hard.
Yeah, I mean, with this whole social distancing thing, like, I think all of us actually have had to spend more time with ourselves, or like with our thoughts at least. Like, maybe you have a whole family, but you're still thinking a lot. I think with the hobby or with the creativity, it's the perfect opportunity to get into these, because now it's like, okay, I can't really go outside, you know, like party or eat out or whatever. So now it's like I kind of have to get in tune with what's going on at home, or, you know, within my body or whatever. So maybe sometimes you don't want things to be all doom and gloom and serious. This is where creativity and hobbies come in. But if you never get started, like, you're never gonna know what that actually looks like.
That's true. So what we gonna do? Create and chill.
That's right.
No Netflix and chill. We're gonna create and chill.
Exactly. And then sometimes Netflix.
No, I don't get stuck watching Netflix with you. We end up watching the dumbest movies, and we all mad.
Hey, we've had some good ones.
We had some good ones though. That last one we watched at the name of it. I'm not gonna say the title. We gonna have to redeem ourselves.
That's another creative side. We try to fit our movie taste together, but
yeah, I completely agree. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Check us out on Instagram at SpeakUpJV. Subscribe, like, and comment to our YouTube channel. We're also on Podbean at speakupjv.podbean.com. We're also on Apple, Spotify, apparently iHeartRadio. Make sure y'all tune in. We appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all. Bye.